Check me out.
Yeah. Hey, podcast listening people, appreciate you tuning in. Do not forget to subscribe, leave a review, give us a shout on social media too. My name is Connor Doobie and I am the host of the show. Really appreciate you listening in as always and giving us your feedback, guys. We cannot make this a great platform without you because we are here to bring you the top information, insights, resources, tips, tricks, and tools of the trade from the ecosystem that we have here in Colorado. Mile High mentors, influencers, leaders, subject matter experts, pulling out the great information that they have and bringing that directly to you guys. So really appreciate it that you are here. Today's guest, very excited to bring Natalie Uhling's story to you. She has really created her brand and built her name and career in the fitness space. Named top fitness influencer, female trainer to watch by many publications. She's been featured in Harpers Bazar, US Weekly, Shape Magazine, and Women's Health. She was also an Under Armour brand ambassador at one point on TV, training professional athletes. She's now founded her company NUFit. And Natalie, just a side note, is just a really, really incredible human being. Very sincere, genuine, and fun. Lots of high energy. I was introduced to Natalie through Katie Martin, who we've had on as a guest. And so shout out to you, Katie. But Natalie is just a fun time, and her story is fascinating. How she had gotten to where she is today, and today, as of today, she may be having a baby here pretty soon. When we did the podcast, she was about ready to pop. So I was actually hoping that she would go into labor while we're doing the podcast, just so we could have that story together. But I'm very excited to bring her information to you guys. Before we do that, real quick message. If you're interested in sponsoring or sponsorship opportunities through the Mile High Mentors platform, send us an email, milehighmentors@gmail.com. You can also be sure, if you're interested in collaborating in any way, or any sort of partnership, send us an email, milehighmentors@gmail.com, or slide on into the DMs, as the kids like to say, on any social media platform you find us on. Okay? Also, if you sell products and services business to business, you probably realize that LinkedIn is a really good place to be, but you're probably not using it effectively, as most people aren't. So our partners over at Active Blogs are putting on a webinar that you can give a watch. It'll share with you the 7 steps to successful social selling on LinkedIn. ActiveBlogs.com/webinar. Again, ActiveBlogs.com/webinar, and you can give that a watch. All right. Without further ado, please welcome Natalie Uhling to the Mile High Mentors podcast. And guys that are listening to this, I understand it's a little echo in here, but Natalie's about to pop, and so we couldn't get in the studio today. And I'm like, we got a podcast while we're here. But where was I going with that? So we were walking around here like, okay, we could do this area, and we've done them in here before. But Julius just had a kid, so he's like, no, she wouldn't be comfortable there. Like, that wouldn't be a comfortable spot.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
I'm super excited.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited. So I'm ready to be a mom. It's been a wild journey.
How does it what's the weirdest thing about being pregnant?
The weirdest thing, I've had a really good pregnancy, knock on wood. I won't knock because of clearly the echo. I would say the craziest thing, I've really enjoyed it. I think the human body is capable of doing so many extraordinary things that it's kind of mind-blowing once you think you are producing life, creating life. You're going to deliver the child either via C-section or via vaginally. That to me is wild. And then the thing is half you, half someone else. So I think just like just the magnitude of all those things is like, it's nuts. And then this person comes out and has like a personality, eyelashes, toenails, and it was inside of you for 9 months. To me, that's crazy. So
weird.
Yeah,
it's so crazy.
It's nuts.
And you saw, I have 7 siblings, by the way.
You do?
Yeah. So
holy, your mom is like,
well, not from the same mom.
Okay. I was like, gee, she's a freaking warrior.
Now my mom is a warrior, but yeah,
yeah, and, good cover up. No,
but no, they're split between 2 families.
Okay.
So I've experienced quite a lot of birth, and it's a crazy thing. Like
7 kids.
7 kids.
That's fun though.
Yeah.
I love big families.
The youngest is 10.
Wow. Okay. So you got to like really like show them the way.
Yeah, a lot. So, where are you from originally?
So I grew up in Idaho. And just, living the normal life ski in Idaho. So I grew up in Boise and
life skiing?
Life ski. Life ski.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna go
in Idaho. And then I went to in college I went to University of Nebraska for 2 years. My dad's a lawyer and we're huge Husker fans. Go Big Red if anyone's listening. So I went to college in Nebraska for 2 years and was in their textile clothing design program. So completely opposite of what I do today. Always knew I wanted to be a fitness expert. I literally started doing this when I was 13. I had a mentor in Boise who was a dancer and a choreographer, and she was like, took me under her wing when I was really a young kid. I'd go to all the Group X classes and be like with all the moms and me, and I then started just like learning all the different techniques from Muay Thai to kickboxing to ballet, anything movement related, like I got my hands into, and I've always been a pretty good athlete, so that just was like something that I love to do. So moving forward, went to Nebraska. My professors were like, if you guys actually want to do anything in the fitness realm, Omaha and Lincoln are not popping for fashion. So I would probably suggest...
for fashion or for fitness?
Fashion.
Oh, you said, so fitness...
Fitness was
what you're interested in.
Yes, interest, my passion, like my heart, my soul.
Yeah.
But my dad's like, how the hell are you going to make money doing, like teaching it the YMCA, like some kickboxing class, you need to.
So fashion was
So I love fashion too, and I love design.
You're pretty damn good at it.
Well, I really think of myself as a creative director too. So like I worked for,
she's agency life also.
But
branding,
yes.
brands. We'll talk about that.
And that's a huge passion of mine as well that I definitely want to build out as I grow in my business. Like, I love branding. I love creating brands. I love strategy. I love business, things like that. So at Nebraska, they're like, if you really want to...
After my own heart.
Yeah, I mean, it's so fun. It's like...
Marketing is fun.
Marketing is amazing.
People, branding.
Totally. And when it hits, you're like, hell yeah. Like, people resonate with things, and it's so cool to see... I love when you're like put something out on the market and people really get around it. You're like, wow, that's so cool. Like, that you conceptualized something and it actually came to life. So after I left Lincoln, I applied for the Fashion Institute in New York. And I got in and literally got on a one-way ticket by myself. Never been to the East Coast in my life. And got on a red eye and landed in the city. So that's when
That old story.
Yeah, that old story.
With $1 in your pocket, right?
With like $2 in my pocket, maybe. Like legit nothing. So I came to FIT and was there for 2 years. Graduated with a fashion merchandising background. Got involved in a lot of fitness stuff there. So the fitness community in New York is pretty tiny, even though it looks huge, just like every other industry. Once you're kind of like plugged in, you kind of like know all the players. There was no boutique studios when I started. So
what constitutes as the fitness
community?
Industry? Yeah, or community.
Well, there's so many different verticals within the community. Like there's the CrossFitters, and they're in their whole other thing with like their paleo diets and all that stuff. And then you've got the yogis, you know, like Kundalini yogi and like all them that do that's a whole nother world.
Which all came from, well, no, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's a whole nother thing. Then you've got like the HIIT girls. Then you've got like the dance cardio girls. So it's like this mismatch of like movement. But once studio fitness kind of came into play in New York, where like the Soul Cycles hit, the Barry's boot camps came, SLT, just all those small boutique studios, then the community got really small because there's not like there was only a few shops with like really tricked out stuff. Like the music's fucking sick, like the lighting, all the instructors are like entertainers, have like background in musical theater, dance, models, things like that. So they're like trained, but also
jazz hands, but also sweaty jazz.
But also, and performers. So they really know how to turn it on. Like I call myself an entertainment like movement expert. Like that's what we do. We change the environment, like the atmosphere that people walk in when they're around our classes, with either mood, lighting, smells. Like all that stuff is so crucial. Just like branding, it's like you can't just throw up a brand. Like you really have to like think of all the different things that go into the brand and how people are going to resonate that. Same with building a class. So fast forward, moved to New York, was in that scene, worked at Equinox, kind of got mentored by a few other women that are pretty big in the space.
Wait, so you went there to pursue fashion?
Yeah.
And you graduated there?
I did,
okay.
yeah. So I
How
graduated.
many years did you spend in school?
4.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I went to Nebraska for 2 and then transferred to FIT and then got done in 2.
What in Boise got you so into fashion in the first place?
You know, I've always loved it since I was a kid. I thought I was actually going to be a hairstylist because I was a cheerleader and a dancer and like did that whole thing too. And I always loved like, I don't know, I'm just always artistic. Like I love braiding. I love doing all like makeup. Like that was just like my jam, like creating stuff, doing dance routines. Like I was in every dance recital you could think of. Anytime that like, say like a thing came into town, they needed a talent show. Like I always wanted to be on stage. Mm-hmm. Like it was just like in my soul. So mixing that with movement and then exercise, I was like
going to like acting.
I actually could have probably done acting, and I actually have had multiple media coaches because I've done a lot of television. So it's basically when you're doing this stuff, it's acting as well. 100%. It's the same thing.
Just being like a personal brand too in some ways.
Yes.
You gotta put it on.
100%.
Yeah.
Like
you do a good job. You do an awesome job.
It's showtime, you know. Like I know when I worked with Under Armour for 5 years, and I was one of their faces of their brand. Like, dude, I traveled all over the country for these guys and did massive activations, like at Super Bowls and CES. And I was on huge stages. You go on there and you like. My husband knows. He's like, oh shit, Natalie's about to lock in. Like, I'm like, joosh. Like, you know, I know every beat in my song. I know exactly what I'm going to say. Like, you're just rehearsed. And that's because our space is hella competitive. It's athletes. So think about that.
How many athletes are
And then
there?
think about how many slots there are for these jobs.
Right.
Like none. So you put those two together and ego... You've got quite the
Wait,
mix.
Athletes have ego?
Yeah, no, I mean, imagine, right? And models? No way. So anyway, graduated from the Fashion Institute, and then I actually worked on Wall Street for a year because Nicole Miller offered me a job right out of college. They wanted me to be an assistant in their sales department, which I interned for them for a year in school. And they offered me so low money. My parents were like, how the hell are you going to stay in New York? I'm like, yeah, exactly. How
are you making money while you're
in school?
Yeah, while you're in school.
So I worked at Equinox. So I worked the front desk. I taught classes.
Is Equinox fit like
huge?
National? Okay.
They're national, but they're like in Dallas, LA, New York,
I thought they were
Miami.
nutrition brand.
No, Equinox is like
it's all fitness?
It's the best gym in like the country. I think so. I mean, they do everything exceptional.
That's a bold statement, miss.
Yes, and
You pronounce it Uhling?
Uhling. Yeah,
Okay.
they're like
We
everything.
got that out of the way.
Yeah,
We got that out of the way. Don't
People are
rely
like,
on me to be good at last names. That's never going to happen.
so I did all that, and then they offered me a job outside of school, and I was like, that's just not going to cut the bills when you're paying like $2,000 in rent, for like some shit box in Chelsea.
What were they offering you in New York on Wall Street?
So
This was
Nicole
intern
Miller, or
position.
you want to know the Wall Street gig?
Yeah.
So Nicole Miller, they offered me $25K. That's before tax, right? So then you got to remember that when you live in New York, you're getting city, state, you literally have like $1 left at the end of the day. So that wasn't going to work. And then when I moved,
New York is expensive
as hell.
shit.
I mean, everything. It's
Hopefully
crazy.
you didn't like smoke cigarettes back then, or
No,
anything.
I've always been really healthy.
Yeah.
So. and then Wall Street, they offered me 50. So double. So I took it.
What were you doing at that point? It was sales, right?
Sales. Which, have you seen Wolf of Wall
Boy,
Street?
you're such a badass.
I mean, I worked on a trading floor, and it was intense.
Yeah, Wolf of Wall Street is my favorite movie.
Okay, well, like that's what
I tried to live that life.
you're
totally
like
kidding.
Leonardo DiCaprio. That's like, no, it was insane. So I was young as hell. I was 22 years old. I had to take out. So we were the brokerage firms.
You were on the floor?
Like the trading floor, with all the guys screaming on the phones, the whole 9 yards.
This is where the fitness came in.
Those guys couldn't be more unhealthy. A lot of the guys I worked with.
like people running around.
Yeah,
the
I mean,
floor and
it
everything
was
like that.
insane.
It was a stupid joke. Go ahead and keep
So I worked there for a year. I had to go out every night to clubs. That was my job. Legit take out. So we were the brokers. We brokered all the deals. And so the traders were our clients. And so I actually sold the platform that these guys traded on. It was called eSpeed. So I'd go into the banks and be like, hey, like I'm Natalie Uhling, blah, 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 here, like this platform, just like any other platform. These are all the functionalities. This is why you should buy it,
You're
blah, blah,
selling
blah.
SaaS.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So to do that, they're like, well, here's your entertainment budget, and then you have to take all these guys out all night long. So that didn't really work with me.
$500.
Like, I mean, no, like it didn't, there was no budget. Like we went to crazy places. The best
Wait,
restaurants.
what do you mean? There's like no budget, like the
no teen.
sky was the limit.
I mean, we rode on private planes. We were in helicopters. We did anything you could imagine. They pimped it out. So I got to do some pretty cool shit. Like, not gonna lie, like I was like 23, like, going to Bon Jovi, and like we're like in the front row, and you're rolling up in like a huge Hummer with like Vuv everywhere and all that stuff. But that to me I never liked that. So I was always like, I just want to go to the gym, and I just want to teach, and I want to do all these things.
Yeah.
So after a year, I decided that I wanted to go back into fashion. So then I got a job. My best friend runs basically the women's department at Ralph now. So I worked in footwear, and then worked on their stylist side for 4 years.
In New York.
And I love that.
Sales?
Not sales, production, and then style. So
Okay.
then I worked on their, we styled
This is
all
like
their
corporate. This is
corporate.
corporate
59th and Madison
Got
is
it,
their
got it.
offices. So
Yeah.
and I am the look of Ralph Lauren in me, like they're very, if you went into the corporate office, you're like, of course you work at Ralph Lauren. Like, it's like blonde hair, blue eyes, like it's like the typical, so it's like
Pretty petite, like
this,
yeah.
exactly, like they have their, so I kind of like fit that mold at that time.
You're the perfect poster child for schmoozing rich Wall Street bankers.
Yeah,
and
pretty
fashion.
much. I mean,
That shit's pretty cool though. I wish I was good looking enough that I could
You
do
are!
stuff like that. And
you can. You just got to go in
Should I
and
get into modeling or something?
Yes, but in Denver,
We'll talk
who the
about
hell
it.
are you going to model with? You got to go. There's no agencies here. Not big enough for you guys.
Yeah. I'm
Like
not
if you
gonna make it.
there's so many girls that ask me about modeling. I'm like, if you really want to get into
I would
campaigns,
never want to get in that life.
you got to go to LA or New York. That's where all the the brands are. They're not here.
Yeah.
Like, just to be honest, like, I've seen a biscuit foot or two here. I'm like, that ain't. It's like when you go out and you see girls in Crocs. I'm like, no, we can't wear Crocs.
Is that called a biscuit?
No, that's my terminology.
I've never heard that before.
Now you'll start using it when you're out.
Literally am. I'm gonna be like, hey, Julius, give me that biscuit.
Right.
Hey, biscuit foot!
Right. But yeah, if you want to model or do anything like that, it's like LA or New York.
Yeah.
I mean, just because the exposure.
I honestly thought I could. I would go into acting maybe. Or
yeah,
like
I could see you.
comedy.
Oh my God, totally.
Well, you know what? I grew up with so many sisters, and so like I'm just have like such a balance.
You're like Derek Huff.
What's that?
You don't
Derek
know?
Huff?
Yeah.
Is this another made-up term?
No, Derek Huff. He's like a major dancer, choreographer.
No, I wouldn't do the dancing.
No, I know, but he grew up with all sisters, and he's like can hang with anyone. He's got like this big personality. Because I think sisters make you being around women.
So many women around, like growing up around so many women. It's a good. I'm comfortable around anybody, and having a big family.
Totally.
We always do these like home movies when we were like 12 and 13,
awesome.
And I was always on the camera, like doing. So like I'm super comfortable doing social media shit now. Just
right.
Like it's just
innate. It's in your
blood.
blood. Yeah. That's what you can tell, like, a lot of people on social, the ones that force it and the ones that just, like, have it, because you're like, it's just natural. Either, like, you like being in front of the camera or you don't. Like, I work with girls all the time, they're like, no, don't put me on camera. Like, I don't want to be on camera. And you're like, well, then you, like, shouldn't be an influencer. Like, if you don't want, like, you know.
Just go raw.
Totally.
You know.
So, anyway, did all that.
Wait, hold on. Before I want to know, what's the craziest story from the Wall Street days? Like,
oh God, I don't even want to tell you.
What's the number one thing you remember from those days? It doesn't have to be anything in what's the word?
Inappropriate.
Incriminating.
Okay, I was like, because there's so much inappropriate shit that happened, it's like not even
those
funny.
Wall Street guys go crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I met a lot of really nice people, but at the end of the day, they're dealing with millions and billions of dollars, so the stress level is like, I've just never seen anything like that in my life. And you're trading, like the market's moving so fast that it's just like real time. And I was stressed just sitting on the floor. Like, I'm like, this is fucking crazy. I don't even want to tell you the stories because it's just like, I was 23. I was young. I was like nothing happened to me personally because I was always confident in myself and would never do like any of the crazy shit. But like,
I feel like you would be the person that.
Yeah, they knew they couldn't fuck with me.
Yeah,
like they knew that. Like, and I was very like they knew that there was no like getting in the window with me. But I think just all the cat calling. I know that might sound like
while
crazy.
You're on the floor?
Oh yeah,
really.
So I'd be walking the trading floors and just the comments that these guys it's like there's no rules. It's like you're in the wild, wild west. And even the women that sit on a lot of things have changed now, so with regulations and with all the stuff that's like Me Too movement, I think these guys are probably getting crushed in like multiple ways, but I remember that being like, holy fuck, like I'm like scared. Like you're walking on a trading floor, it's 500 men like staring at you.
How many other women
worked on my floor?
Yeah.
There was only 2, and they were like
2 including you?
2 including me, and they were
Wait,
not.
So there's one other person?
No, 2 and then me. So 3.
Okay.
But these women were not like, they're like pit bulls. Like this isn't like a normal, like I dressed in like skirts every day, like really like nice, like pencil skirts. They were like there to fucking like kill someone, like because they've been in the business. They're just like 50, 60-year-old women, like,
I see.
Crushing just life.
They're money meatheads.
Like, there you go. That's actually a really good term. You should write that down.
We got it on audio. We got it recorded.
Money meatheads.
Money meatheads.
Dude,
something out of
that. I agree. That's a really good. Yeah, I was like, whoa, that's really fucking good. But 100%. So I just remember that, like, I never liked that because it's like you want to go to work and you want to think like, you work hard, you study, like, you know your shit, like, that has gravitas, like, things like that. Like, people put weight behind that, but I felt like, I don't know, it was like such a gray area of like, no, they just want to go out with you and they just want to party, and like, that's kind of your job. And for me, that just like, I just couldn't do that for that
It's
long.
probably good that you were as strong-willed of a person as you were, and doing that, because imagine a weaker-willed
you'd
woman.
get eaten alive.
Right.
They wouldn't last.
Right.
There's no way you would last on a trading floor for one day. Let me just put that. Like, anyone that needs any like rock shaking, go to Wall Street and see if you can hang in that and climate. Because as a young kid too, like, you're scared out of your mind.
Did you see the story of the first woman trader, I think? 23 years old, and she's an actual trader.
Okay, yeah.
First on the floor. First woman.
No, I didn't see this.
Recent. Like, this was within the last several months, I
Okay.
think.
Oh, yeah, she's the
Something
head of the
first
stock
woman.
exchange. Yeah, she's like,
okay.
yeah. No, I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Which
know
is
what that means.
crazy.
I don't trust that like,
I mean, it's...
I don't invest. I don't invest in that stuff. I don't know what you got. You guys listening to this?
Yeah.
What you're into, you know. Do you invest in the stock market?
Yeah.
No?
Oh my
Do you
God.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big
You have
time.
more insight in it, but
my
have you read
husband's...
Unshakable by Tony Robbins?
No, but
you would love
yeah,
that book.
I love
You would
Tony
love
Robbins
that.
too.
He's interviewed all the top financial
Because that's
guys
his
in the world.
clients.
Right.
Yeah, they're paying him like $1 million a year to coach.
So you should check that out.
Yeah, I will.
You'd love it.
Yeah, I definitely want to go to one of his like weekends.
Him and Gary Vee were just here.
Oh, they
a couple
were?
weeks ago. Yeah, spoke at.
Did you guys go?
I didn't go.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
I love going to conferences, though.
Yeah, no,
I was
me
just
too.
At one in San Diego.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember you said that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's beautiful out there.
Anyway, so did that, and then Soul Cycle came to town, which
In New York?
Yeah.
Wait, did you meet your husband in New York?
In New York, yeah.
Was he a Wall Street guy?
He is a Wall Street guy. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
So one did get through.
No,
One did
different.
break.
He's not a trader or a broker.
Okay.
Very different thing. He's in private equity. Those guys are like refined and like
totally
different dudes. Like, you're thinking like, I mean, they couldn't be polar opposite. All their training is very different too. Like, they're like in banks. Like, it's very serious. There's no like yelling or anything like that. So very different. Very, very, very different.
Does he still do that now?
Yeah,
He's on the
he
financial-
does.
Okay.
Yeah. So
We'll have to talk after that.
yeah, we can talk all about that. That's why I'm interested in all the business stuff too, because it's just like when you're around it young. Plus New York, it's either like, I feel like it's fashion or it's business. Like those are the two like huge industries there.
Cutting your teeth early like that, I think, is so like.
Yeah, you learn a lot about yourself.
That's what I hope someone younger listening to this podcast will put themselves in an extremely uncomfortable position,
Especially as a
when
female.
they're young, especially as a female.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother story. Like,
Yeah.
all the power women I have on this podcast are like, you can literally do anything. And then I hear so many peer women that like, oh, we're so discriminated against, which there's,
Yeah,
there's
no, I get
truth
that.
to that.
Yeah.
But you can literally do anything. If you set
Anything.
your mind to. And cutting your teeth early on something like
Yeah.
that, like.
I think I tell everyone, like, I hope me and Drew are so, like, we love New York and, like, just the culture there. And, like, the minute that she's able to go to New York, like, it's a one-way ticket. Like, you got to make it. Like, you got to figure, like, our daughter, like, thinking, like, in the future, like, anyone now, like, any, like, people always ask me for advice, and I'm like, can you get to New York? Like, in terms of, like, young, like, just out of college.
Yeah.
I'm like, the training.
People do it all the
And the training it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. The training that you get there is unlike anywhere else in the United States. And the hustle and just the grind it is such a grind. It's unbelievable what you push your body, mind, soul, like everything to on a daily basis, that if you can do that and like actually succeed, you're set. I don't know. It just like sets you up.
And you can do that outside of New York. I mean, there's a lot of settings you could put yourself into.
Absolutely. I just think if you get an opportunity to move there, I'm like so pro. I'm like, go.
Yeah.
Go and see if you can like, handle it.
My grandma's up in sleepy, like, do you know where Yorktown is?
Yeah, of course.
Or Peekskill?
I know exactly all those places.
Yeah. Do you go back there ever?
Yeah, we go back a lot. Yeah, a ton. All of our friends. I mean, I work there all the time too.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, I love the city.
So you were doing a lot of with boxing and fighting and like...
Not fighting. Never fighting. Kickboxing. Yeah.
And then that transitioned your other career?
So when I was at Ralph Lauren, I was there full time, and I knew that I wanted to make the jump to doing fitness full time. And I taught actually at 24 Hour Fitness that just opened in New York. There was no studio, like big studios that had opened. And my classes were just fucking packed. Like I had like 80 chicks in there, just killing it. And on 59th and Lex, so it's so much fun. It's like all the girls that are working banks and walls, they're all coming in, and just like my people, like you're just like, oh, like these girls, there's tons of fashion houses around there, so you're just pulling around really women that are kick-ass, have disposable incomes and want to work. They're like drilled in on you. So once my classes started picking up, Soul Cycle had come to New York, and Julie and Elizabeth Rice are the two founders, and they opened up their first shop on the Upper West Side. And so they had an open...
They're still around, right?
Yeah. I mean, they got bought by Equinox and Related Group, but yeah, they're massive. So... I
totally forgot to ask you though.
I'm good.
All right.
So they were doing an open tryout because they were looking for new instructors. And my boss at Ralph knew that like fitness was my thing. She just was like, dude, you've like, because I talked about it all the time, and I was like, I just want to make the transition out. So she knew that I like eventually wanted to leave. So there was 4 slots for the Soul Cycle, and I got one of 4. And with that, no other people that made the training group had jobs. They were actors, they were dancers, they were Broadway people. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, holy fuck, like I have a full-time job, because this training program was 6 months. They're not like that anymore. They're like 3 days now, and they're like throw you on the bike and they're like,
really?
Get it. Yeah, wow. No, it's very different now. But at that...
Is that a good thing?
In my opinion, no, but the problem is...
Same with yoga too.
Everything.
Every woman is a yoga instructor now.
Of course they are, because
and they
it's
can get
money.
Certified after like...
Everybody. The business has changed. When I got into the business in 2007, 2008 in New York, like doing all this stuff, it's not even the same business anymore. Like I look at some of the, I know this might sound crazy, but I'll look at some of the people that are teaching and they were like students of mine, and I'm like, no fucking way, dude, that person's like actually, right. It's just... Now on the flip side of that, I also feel like there's probably people who are better at driving and pushing and coaching than they are those who 100%. Oh my god, there's so many different artistry. Either you're going to be like a personal trainer and you're really good one-on-one, and you're like connect with someone and you know the body like super well. Like I like call them like body mechanics. It's like body magicians. It's like they know like fucking the body to the core, and they're perfect for that, but they're not good for like brand partnerships or activations where you're like traveling across the country and you're getting up in front of massive stages and being like, let's like getting the whole crowd, because that's not what they do. Musicality is not a part of their rhythm either. Like what I do, music is literally the same thing as the movement. Like the music and the movement are this like weight the same.
Well, and help people understand what you're talking about. Like,
so when you're doing like massive activations, like say with a brand, say like you travel with Under Armour and they're paying you to go across the country and you have like a 5-stop tour or something like that, you have to program like all the workout, but everything needs to be synced with the music too, because it's a show. So that's the difference. Like,
so what is an activation though for Under Armour? Like you go to like a studio in LA or something like that.
Not a studio. They'll do a build out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of hard.
So say like when I did the Super Bowl in New York, this was in 12 or whatever.
You and Katie both went to Super Bowls.
I know, and
and
we were there at the same time.
Oh, it was the same Super Bowl?
I was literally doing all the workouts on the field with all the NFL wives and their like significant others that got tickets, and then they were dancing on the stage like vertical for me.
Did you know each other?
Yes, because I trained all them, so I know.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I was there in San Fran when they were there. It was really cool. That weekend was gorgeous. The weather, I remember, it was like so killer. But so usually brands, what they'll do is they'll activations can be small, they can be huge, large scale. So they'll like find like a place where they want to activate. It could be like a warehouse or something like that, and then they trick it all out. So bringing in all the branding, bringing in like a water sponsor, like whoever they want to tee up with, and then something like that. And
I know what that means. Just something silly.
And then with your budgets, you're able to like Propel or powered by Propel or whatever they do, and then they hire the talent, which is like us, to come in, and then we program with sometimes they're like, definitely bring your DJ if you have a DJ that plays with you all the time, or no, you can curate the set list with like our person. And Under Armour, they had like their in-house people, so I would work with the guy on set list. I'd be like, I want this song dropping at this like exact moment and blah blah blah. So you like backfill, you program your entire show, so it's seamless. Like you're not just getting on stage like yelling, like it's already done. So there's that way, but then you could be a personal trainer. It's a total
choreographed.
Oh, when I did TV, I learned. It was such a learning curve for me. I've never learned so much in my life.
Wait, so what were you doing on TV? Were you doing actual?
So when I got cast for a television show 2 years ago, it was called Radius. Mm-hmm. It was on NBC Sports, and it was so it was live streaming every day. So my workouts, like at 6 a.m., you could go on NBC and it would be like Natalie Uhling, for Radius, and you could do my workout for the morning, and then you'd go on the app, and then you'd see like my nutrition tips and like all that kind of stuff. So I filmed that for 2 years. It was the craziest thing I've ever done in my life. I produced 8 signature programs from the ground up. Within those 8, there was like 6.
Before you launched in those 2 years?
Dude,
or you had to do it on the fly?
No. Before, so we shot like one round of the show, and then they would be like, okay, you guys get a month break to program again. And then we would have to go to LA, and because they'd have huge shooting studios. We shot at like Disney and shit. So then it was like, then we would do the other set. You have hair, makeup, media coaches, you're traveling around the country. Like we did South by Southwest, we did Super Bowl. You're like constantly, we did the Today Show. Like you're doing all the press circuits too.
Was it you and a group of other women?
There's 4 of us. So it was me, a girl named Bashira. She was more of like the mom, like more catered to the mom, like crowd, like lower impact stuff. She's an awesome, like works with Carrie Underwood and a ton of other people too. She's pretty like rad. Keone Hidoba, which is my best friend. He's in New York. He slays a dragon. I love him. And then we've got Alex Easley and then another guy named Nikki. So we were all very different. Look, feel very different too. So there was 2 women and then 3 guys.
So what was how'd you get your foot in the door with an opportunity like that?
Because
you were with Under Armour before that. Was that part of...
So this is how that happened. So I was signed with Under Armour, did all their stuff, and the president of NBC Sports... Actually, no, this is a story, because they told me. So this is a really good story. So I did a big campaign. It was
what happens when you...
I know. I'm like, oh my God, I just remembered all this stuff. So I did a campaign, I Will What I Want campaign with Misty Copeland, me, Brianna Cope, Lindsey Vaughn, Natasha Hastings, who were the other girls? Oh, and Kelly O'Hare. So she like scored the goal for the U.S. She's a big soccer player. So anyway, they picked like 5 unique individuals, and we were kind of like the face of this big "I will what I want" like kick-ass campaign. I'm sure you saw the Misty commercial that like ran everywhere. So through that, you shoot like these massive campaigns, and then they go up across the world. Like I remember at Under Armour, I'm really popular in Asia. I know they find me like, it's like that I'm white and that I can move
blonde eyes.
I mean, literally
blue eyes. Did I say blonde eyes?
Yeah, blue eyes, blonde hair, and can move and like motivate men. It's like, it's weird. So like when I'd go to Under Armour and they'd be in market, I'd get all these Asian guys coming up. Can you sign autographs for our daughter? Like you're like this weird anomaly like over there. So
it's so interesting.
So your face is kind of going up on all these billboards like all across the country. So I had a humongous
and globally.
Yes.
We're in Asia. Like
I think there was like Hong Kong. I mean, it was all over the place, like everywhere, because they like I can't remember what other retailers that they have over there, but they distribute like all over.
Did it feel weird, or was it like,
no, it's awesome. You're like, hell yeah, dude, I busted my ass for this shit, you know? So I did, I remember the pictures, like I was hanging from, I can show you guys too. I was hanging from this like rafter, and my legs were put up and my abs were just like shredded. It was like a really sick photo. And my name is,
the abs?
Yeah, right. It's like, I'm about to pop. It's your name's attached to everything. So I know.
Now's the time, if any.
Now is the time. So I was blasted up in Chelsea Piers in Stamford, Connecticut, like a huge billboard when you walk in the facility. And NBC Sports is attached to Chelsea Piers in Stamford, Connecticut. So the guys all go work out. So the president of NBC Sports was walking through, and they were thinking about this show idea, about this new show idea, and they saw me and they're like, who the fuck is that girl? Get her on the show. So they're good friends with Kevin Plank, who's the CEO of Under Armour, who's the shit. I love him.
Is he in New York?
No, he's in Baltimore.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, so he's just, I mean, he's amazing and just a hardcore entrepreneur, and his story is pretty amazing, just Under Armour in general.
Yeah.
So they called Kevin and were like, hey, I think your athlete we want her on our show. So that's how they made the connection. So then my team inside Under Armour was like, hey, we want to connect you with NBC. And then the rest is history. And then I went through, oh my God, I went through a year and a half of casting rounds. Like they were like, here's the cast. Then they'd wipe the cast out. I was the only one standing. Here's the cast. They'd wipe the cast out. I was the only one. So I made all the cuts for like literally.
What did that include? Like doing
oh my God, tons.
Tell us more about that. Like,
yeah, so basically when you're trying out for shows, I've gotten cast for 2 shows. I actually got cast for another show too, and that was a whole nother thing. It was reality TV, and that's a whole nother.
You would be so perfect for reality TV.
It was crazy. I was locked in a room for 4 days. Like, the casting process was insane. Anyway.
Wait, is that the show?
For getting on the show, not for Radius, but this other show.
The show wasn't about you getting locked in a room for 4 days.
No, but they put you in there as like a threshold.
I'm like, that'd be an interesting show.
Yeah,
they're gonna lock you in a room for 4 days.
Yeah, well, you're like go nuts. You're like, what the hell's going on? So anyway, so with Radius, so getting on the show, God, oh my God, the tryout process was so grueling. I was literally on a plane to LA every other week, because as the show gets bought, they like sell it into networks, they sell it into stuff. You have to, they pick a production company, and then if they don't like that production company, then they switch. And so then you're trying out for the new guys, and then the new guys, and then the new guys. So literally, like you get all ready, you know, like you're all like tricked out and like stuff and have everything in, and then you walk in and they're like, all right, so all the cameras are on you. It's like a full thing. And they're like, who are you? So you're like, hey, I'm Natalie Uhling, like created my own fitness method, NUFit, like this is what I specialize in, blah, 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 that whole thing. And they're like, all right, show us like a 30-minute workout. So you have to come like I mean, it's all men too. So it's exec after exec after exec of these.
So did you make them work out?
No.
Or you just had to like.
You're just doing it. Why everyone's
did
just
you bring
like
music in?
No, they don't allow. They no music.
Oh my God, that sounds so weird and so awkward.
Oh, it's
that's why that world would just be so weird.
And you're like, what the fuck? Like I'm. It's so. I mean, it's hard. Like, let me tell you. Like, you've got to like.
Good for you.
And you're up against like you're like. Holy shit, there's that girl, there's Shanti. Like there's like, you're going against like some serious hitters. So it's intimidating as hell. And I think they do that because they really want to see if you've got the grit to do TV, because TV is so grueling. Like I cannot even tell you how hard what I did for 2 years was. It was insane. So got through all that process, and then basically what happens is there's so many politics or stuff, and they're like, okay, the show got bought. It's gonna like, we're starting production tomorrow. Like, here's your coach, because they give you coaches, and then you do the whole thing.
Do they pay you a salary when you're doing something like that? Okay.
Mine was. I don't know. Other shows are different.
Yeah.
But so then they get then you get on the show, and then you get a call, and they're like, oh, by the way, the show's not happening here anymore. That happens, like, I can't even tell you how many times that's happened to me. So then you're like, oh shit, well, like, I was like planning to like do this.
Have you read Kevin Hart's book?
No.
He talks about that same process of like going through and like creating a show, and
then it gets canned.
That's another one you really like.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I mean, and I think I don't even know what the ratio of actual shows going.
It's like for every 200 pitch.
It's like crazy
or something like that.
So finally, the show got picked up, and finally they were like, "Okay, we've got the cast. Everything's ready to go." You do tons of promo shoots. I had like, we had to do tons of media days. We did all the openers for the shows and the closers for the shows, which that's a whole nother thing that I did not know. So teleprompt work is like a whole nother game that I did not have training in. So I was
like reading a teleprompter.
I mean, and you like taste words and like all the other stuff, and you got to be animated but not cheesy, and like all this. So everyone on the show had traditional media training because they were quite a bit older than me, except me. So I go on, and here comes Bashira. She's like fucking like been on Oprah and shit, and she just is like perfect. And I was like, she did like one take, like it was always like a one take, like boom, oh that was amazing. And then here I am, like no training in teleprompter work, and that was really like, I definitely got like knocked in the jaw.
Did you imagine if someone was totally dyslexic and having to do that too?
You'd be like, I mean, you'd have to like
memorize
100%.
Yeah.
But it's so much, like it's so many words coming down, and they're like, do it over. We don't like that take. Do it over. Oh, sorry. Do it over. We don't like that take. Do it over. And it's like hours and hours. You're in the heat.
Yeah.
You've got to look good because it's all on camera. So that was like a skill that I'm like, wow, did I learn like such a, because then they were like, you need a media coach. And then they gave me a media coach, and then I worked with her every day in New York for months. Like I would go to her office, and she'd tee up her computer, and we'd read scripts, and then she'd be like, that sucks. You always say so. Like she'd like give me like tips. And then I would
really start building some self-awareness.
And then you go home, and your hands, you're like, hi, I'm Natalie Uhling. And like, you get to, you get the feel of everything. And then off that, you have to program workouts. And I love, everything I do is based around music, and you got to remember music rights and all this stuff, like they don't own all the music rights. So I worked with a music composer to compose signature sounds for my shows. Nothing.
Oh, that's kind of...
So the sounds were like, it's not like you're like fucking slaying to Rihanna or something. It's like bow chicka bow, and you're trying to get like, like
make your own like.
Yeah. So that was really hard.
That's a whole other thing to choreograph into that.
And I called it the insane asylum because I have stories like in pictures. You would go into, we had open studio space every day for like 2 years, where we could go into any dance studio in New York, and then you have these huge post-it notes that you could just get at like Office Depot or whatever, and those are your show notes. And you paste them up all over the goddamn walls, because you do one show, then you go to the next show, then you go to the next show, and you practice. I mean, the room is like covered in Post-its, and so you're in
You've
there.
You've been in that environment before, right?
For hours and hours. I was in there from fucking 6 a.m. to midnight, forever. And then you have your friends come in because you want them as the backup, and then you want then your coach is there with you 3 times a week. So she was always like drilling me like, no, you can't do that. That doesn't make sense. Everything has to add up, because TV is like, when it's 30 minutes, it's 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It's not a class. You don't go like, oh shit, we're 5 minutes over today. No, the show wraps, boo. It is done. Like there's
Wait, so was it recorded live when you were doing it?
Yes.
Everything was live?
No, they recorded it. Yes, tons of posts.
Okay.
But they have small budgets. So if you're the fucking asshole in there going over, you're not getting asked back, because the post is so expensive.
So how do they recruit the people to actually do the training with you? Because if someone does F it up...
You mean the coaches?
No. The people who are actually exercising.
It's just like models and stuff. They just do an open cast.
Got it.
So I met these girls legit like 2 days before they were like my backup dancers. And I was like, okay, no, yes, no. Like, because a lot of them didn't move the same way. Mm-hmm. You want it to look like effortless and flow and like all that kind of stuff. So... But then there was a few girls that I really loved, and I was like, nope, she's mine. And I would keep her, and then she just did all the shows with me. Like, there's a girl named Caitlin. She's a huge dancer in Florida, lived in LA, and she did every single show with me. Mm-hmm. And then
cheerleader also?
No, dancer. But she just like had that rhythmic, had that like style, and I was like, no, I want her to do everything with me. So they allowed her to like do all the shows with me. But that's hard too, because you're just meeting these people. You've worked for 2 years on this. Yeah. And then they come in and they might miss an 8 count. Oh, fuck no. You're like, get your shit together, because you give them all the materials before they come. But until they see it in person and see like everything, it's hard to kind of like grasp that. Yeah. It's just like dance.
Well, what you're doing with that is a whole nother animal compared to like doing TV acting or
way different.
Yeah, it's totally different. So that you and an actor put together in a room, and I'm sure you've probably been around some before.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah,
a lot of those people took my classes in New York.
Oh yeah,
yeah, because they love to work out.
So what landed you in Colorado then?
Yeah,
after that.
So did that, and then I actually got cast for another show called Strong that hit NBC, and they picked like the most phenomenal male trainers you've ever, like my friend Todd Durkin, who's like a huge sports performance guy in San Diego. If you go back down there, you should go to his gym. He's the truth. He trains like Drew Brees.
What's his like
sports performance, NFL.
No, what's his
Impact.
Brick and mortar Impact. Okay.
It's called Impact, yeah. And he's just phenomenal. Anyway, so he got cast on the show, and then all these other guys were like ridiculous. I was like, fuck yeah. Like, I want to be a part of this crew. They ended up, I got the slot to be on the show, and I would have to go to LA and live in a house for 3 months. And this
was a reality.
Yes, this was like kind of like Big Brother type-esque, but
with
for
fitness
working.
People?
Yeah, so getting them to lose weight or like gain weight. It was like all different people.
But not the Biggest Loser.
Not The Biggest Loser. But it was the same producers that produced The Biggest Loser.
Oh, okay.
So
that producer really wants people to lose weight.
Yeah. He's actually awesome. So they called me and they're like, you got the show. And I was like, great. So, because we were thinking about leaving New York kind of years prior. This is the thing about New York. You get there and you're like, holy fuck, this place is intense, like whatever. Then it grows on you. Then you love the people, and then you love the hustle, and then you do really well. And then it's an addiction. And you're like, I literally cannot leave here. Like, this is like defines me, and this is who I am. And it's just so fun, and people are doing really dope shit, and you have access to everyone because the island's small. So it's like you can get around.
It is I can totally see that.
It's amazing.
Too. Like,
you're like addicted to like the
success, the pace,
just everything.
See, I know that's why I shouldn't move to New York, because I feel
you would kill it. I could totally see you there.
Yeah,
easily.
I love it here.
I mean, this place is amazing.
I love traveling.
This place is awesome.
Yeah.
So
back to how you landed.
Yeah. So how I landed here. So when I didn't, we were in Telluride, Colorado. It was the summer.
This was where the show was?
No, we were just on vacation.
Oh,
Tell you how I got. So I got the call. They were like, you got the show. You're going to be moving to LA in like the next month. So we're like wrapping up, like your entertainment lawyers are like signing stuff, doing all this stuff. Then I got a call 2 days later and they're like, we killed the female portion. The show's not gonna happen. We're only going with males.
Oh, weird.
I was
Why did they do that?
Fuck, really? So the show ran. It was all the trainers that got casted, all my friends. I was like, it was awesome. It ran for, I think, 1 or 2 seasons, and then the ratings weren't there, so they killed it. So it was actually a blessing in disguise. Once that happened, I was like, me and Drew, that's my husband's name, we were like, we wanted to leave New York for a while, and it was just like all the stars kind of aligned for us. Like, he wanted to start his own PE firm. I wanted to kind of branch out in different areas, and we're like, if we do not do it now, we're never going to do it, because then you get into new jobs, then you get into new deals, then you get into stuff, and you just can't leave.
You just keep cycling.
Yeah, because you have equity in companies, or you're doing whatever, and you're just not leaving. So we had an opportunity. It was 2 summers ago where we saw a window, and we literally picked up our shit in August, and we're like, we're just going to Airbnb out in Colorado for the month of August.
What was the draw?
So we didn't want to go to LA because LA is the same as New York. It's like the same shit. Colorado, the economy was booming here. Just like there's tons of potential and growth. And I wanted to be closer to my family because my parents live in Sun Valley, Idaho. So it's pretty close.
Oh, okay.
It was just like the perfect.
It's like 16-hour drive though.
It's like 12 hours. Oh. Yeah, but the flight's super easy, and it's like, so we were just like, Denver sounded just kind of right. So we picked up that summer, and my photographer that worked for me for years stayed in our apartment in New York. We just let him stay there for free. In August, he took care of our place, and then we bounced to Colorado, and we lived in Lohi over here.
Yeah.
Our place was so cute, and
you bought a house out here?
No, just Airbnb, just to see if we liked it.
Yeah.
So we're like, dude, this is awesome. How could you not love the lifestyle? Like, it's amazing. So we came back to New York, and I got a job. It was like a modeling and then fitness. Like, I was filming workouts in Australia for a company called NUFit. And so they were like, hey, we need you in Australia for 2 weeks. And at that point, Drew was like, I think we should probably make this jump. So he packed the apartment, and literally I landed from Australia in New York, got in a car, and drove to fucking Denver the next day. So it happened just like, it literally just, everything just like happened. It was so fast. It's like we got home August, we had September, we got all of our ducks in a row. We moved, I think it was October 1st we moved.
This was 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
Wait, so at what point were you training the Broncos?
Yeah, so then when I got here, the president of NBC Sports made an introduction for me.
Oh, great.
Because I was like, I want to work
over to the Denver, to
Shauna and the team that's over there, who I love. So he made a personal call. He was like, hey, you should bring this girl in. She like has a very similar background to the girls, and I think that they would love her. So Shauna reached out to me, and I got connected through him and another friend of mine who you guys should have on your show. Her name's Emily Hines. She runs a company called Sweat Cosmetics. She's a fucking boss.
Sweat Cosmetics?
They were all professional soccer players, and then they decided that they wanted to launch this like clean beauty brand that was for athletes. So their niche is really cool. They're here in Colorado. She's the truth, by the way. She's also a CFO, and she's like brilliant as hell. So I love rapping with her. So she
I'm sure you have a lot of cool brands that you could help bring
oh
on
my
the
God,
show.
she's amazing.
We'd love to do that.
So she they wanted me to be a sign with them as a brand ambassador at the time, and they didn't have as big as budgets that I was like used to, so I was like, hey, I'll just do stuff for you guys as friends. And then they're like, awesome. So we do stuff together all the time. I got introduced to her through Kelly O'Hare, who's a professional soccer player from Under Armour. I know this is confusing. She then connected me.
Am I giving you a look?
Yeah.
Honestly, it's just because my eyelashes are my eyes and they're probably getting all silly. But
she then connected me with the Broncos too. So it was like double hitter. It was like NBC and then these guys. And so they kind of connected me both. And then we went to lunch with Shauna, the head coach of the Broncos. And she's like, come in. And I came in. And I literally like whooped their ass, like so. Like,
I'm so scared,
dude. Katie was like, "Oh my God!" I remember after I did the workout. It's all dance cardio, so it's like that's the class I taught for them. I can play in multiple arenas. Like my class doesn't need to be choreography. It doesn't need to be whatever. But I know they all want to be long, lean, flexibility, and they dance. So like I built a class around.
Katie is like this. She's not tall. She's a kind of short, like beautiful girl. But when you go and hug her, or like you put your arm around her, I'm like, dude, you're like a wall, like a brick wall.
Yeah, they're all
I'm kind of
so
scared
fit.
to do a class with you, but now I'm actually.
Oh, you would love it. Yeah,
and I need to get some like stone abs.
Yeah, you need to get that ripped look going on. But
I do pretty good in the gym. I do.
I'm sure you do. Awesome. So I went in there and I taught them, and they literally I think 3 girls threw up. They were like, they had to cancel practice after me. They were like, yeah, no one's regurgitating anything after that beat down. But it was awesome because these girls people don't understand how hard these girls train.
Right.
Dude, it is a full-time gig. They've got promos, they've got dance, they've got training, it is their workouts. When you go watch them, they have practice Tuesdays and Thursday nights. It's 5 hours. Like they're killing it. And it's not just marking the routines. They're fucking going full out. Then they dance every Sunday. These girls are real athletes. That's what I really want to stress on here. I cannot, I'm the biggest fan of those guys.
I think that most people probably recognize, and we even, Katie and I talked about it.
They're sick athletes.
Yeah.
Sick.
Well, because you made them sick.
No,
and they're literally sick. But they've been training since they've been 3 years old at major dance facilities across it. These girls are coming out of, for instance, one of the girls that's amazing that was on the team, Tony. She came out of Larkin Dance School in Minnesota, the top dance school in the country. These girls don't play around, and so. They're my perfect, if I was thinking of anyone that I could, it's that sector is perfect for me because they work really hard. They're women and they're movement experts. And so together it was just And you're still working with the team now?
Yeah. So not now, obviously, since I'm about to pop, but when I come back, I'll go in the fall and do stuff with them too. It's so fun too, because they're young, they're moldable, and you can I become friends with all them, and it's really fun to help them build brands. I've helped a few of them launch their websites and their businesses. I'm you fucking can do this.
Yeah.
This is how you do it.
What are you doing now? And I gotta start wrapping this thing up. What are you doing now? By the way, I think we've gone for 2 hours.
Oh my God.
That flies by, right?
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
I'm super excited. You and Katie need to get...
We're gonna get on this. Yeah, well, we don't know the name yet, but... So
there you'll share the dirty stories that happen.
Well, I think we'll share everything from health and wellness to, insider's tips on where to go, our favorite places, to cool girls doing awesome shit, even men. Just really, I think between our 2 networks, we know a lot of interesting people doing really cool stuff. And it's why wouldn't you connect people and bring that out and give that like resources to people that are like this, it's pretty sweet. So
what's your main focus now?
Yeah.
What's the biggest
so
thing
after I
besides
have
a baby?
Yeah, I know, which is really my focus right now. But anyway, once I come back in September, so I'm going to do like a kind of a rebrand of my entire brand, like logos, look, feel. But I'm
your personal or like your company,
like my company, Natalie Uhling Fitness. And then
your website's beautiful. By
thank
the way.
you.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go hardcore push digital. So I've partnered with a company. I don't want to tell you what company yet, but I partnered with them. All my stuff is going to be on demand. So like live stream, you can get all my workouts from there, like insider's tips onto like my fertility stuff, mom stuff, how to get your body back after baby. Stay tuned for that.
So
So that's gonna
probably can do that one now.
Yeah, that's gonna be my main.
I'm sorry,
focus.
I'm so cheesy.
No, but yeah. So that, and then building out like my brand and partnerships, like leg of my business too. Like I want to go on the road again with like major companies and do activations and sit on panels and really do that sort of the business too. So kind of different verticals, but
you should just be a speaker.
I know, I would love to, dude. I would.
We're gonna do a live full on Mile High Mentors event, and we'll probably do some smaller events, but I want to do like a conference, like a weekend
100%.
All the top influencers, CEOs, brand like here in Colorado, and we're gonna go on stage for that. I mean, you'd
awesome.
Be fun.
I would love that. It's like Denver Startup Week. I'm always like, come on, guys, we need to like get this like I've pitched them a couple ideas. I'm like, you need to make it like create and cultivate. I don't know if you know that brand, but those girls are just amazing. I know there's so many, and it's girl bosses doing really cool shit, and they have like amazing speakers and just like stuff that you can get. You go to these things and you're like, okay, like here's a template that I can actually implement. It's like, that's the thing with these conferences is like, if you don't have stuff that they can actually do, take home, roadmaps.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's out there too. I mean,
totally.
Anyone has access.
But people don't want to take the time to actually like do the work. They're like, oh, you just do it. It's like, it's your brand. You've got to come with the, like, I cannot, that's why like branding's so interesting when people are like, well, do you just create the brand? You're like, it's your brand, boo. Like you've got to like, it's got to come from like your ideas, because if it doesn't speak to you, the audience is not going to get wrapped around it too.
Right.
So
what are you doing now? Is branding, right?
So again, like once I move forward, it's like, the digital side of my business, really blowing that aspect into the at-home workouts, getting like into people's houses and giving them everything from nutrition tips to mindset tips to motivation to workouts, and then building a leg on my business, like a consulting business where I go in and I'm like, here's all the girls that you guys should hire. This is how you activate. This is what you need to do. Boom. Like, because all these brands, like what I've known is like they have the budgets, but a lot of times they're not making they're not like seeing full picture. And I've been on both sides of the gate.
You're in the glass. What's it?
Totally.
What's the term called? Like glass jar.
You're just like,
you can't read the label.
Exactly. It's like the forest between the trees. Like you can't see. And I've been on the talent side, but I've also been on the agency side. So it's like, making sure that the two come together as a marriage, that you're like servicing both. So like the influencer or the talent is really happy and you're promoting them and you're pushing them, but the brand's getting promoted too, because I think a lot of times on my side of the gate as being the talent and the face of stuff, you want a partner that also is getting behind you, getting you out there, tweeting you, doing all that stuff. Because a lot of these brands are they're like, okay, can you just post today? That one post, that's not long-term partnerships.
Well, the influencer side is such a new, wild west.
Dude, it is wild. That's people, the rates, I'm like, where did you get that rate? Yeah, I mean,
about your friend.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen rates upwards of like for one post, $100,000, and you're like, okay, well, what is like the analytics behind that? Like, how do you break that down? The thing is no,
No one knows.
No one knows. And yes.
But also it could be evergreen too, because like
totally,
as that person gets money, and if they're smart, they reinvest back into their brand, and they're going to drive more activity to that post, and it's going to reciprocate that way. So
and girls are more powerful than brands now. Like, you know, oh my God, you go on their side and you're like, I want to buy whatever she's wearing, whatever she's doing, and the brands know that they have that power. The power has shifted. So it's this interesting era that we live in, and these kids are doing it really well. Like 13-year-olds are getting, I mean, they've got like millions of dollars
for making putty on YouTube.
Yeah, and they're like killing it. You know, they've got
these like a Goo YouTube page or something.
Yeah, I mean, look at
what's it called? It's like the big craze with all the little kids, right?
Musical.ly.
No.
Okay.
It's like a
I don't know.
It's like a flubber type like thing.
I have no idea, but anyway, these guys are just, you know, and the thing is that community, these kids, they all want to connect, and they're all really active on social. So it's like they're posting, they're liking, they're commenting, they're da-da-da-da. So you just get it like...
It's first nature to them compared to other generation who has the budget, right? Who has the budget that's paying out for the brands.
And they have no idea about social.
Right.
Nor do they want to. They're like, this is fucking like not my thing. Like, you do it. When you're like, dude, if you're going to be like running your brand and doing that, you need to know the game too, because... Yes, a lot of these kids have amazing ability, and like you're like, dude, you just like being around them because they're so creative. It's like so fun, but they don't have the business side of it. They're just like throwing shit up to see like what happens, and either it hits or it doesn't. And a lot of times their stuff is crazy hits, but where do you go from that is like what I want to know. And a lot of them don't.
How is it sustainable? How do you... Just
everything.
That's a challenge too, yeah.
I mean, I think for all of us.
A lot of them probably go like this really, really quick, and then it goes like that.
Just like a pro athlete.
Yeah.
You're hot for 2 seasons, and then the next, you know, like LeBron comes in and he's younger, he's swifter, he's cooler, he's got better style, and the brands are like, peace the fuck out. We can get this guy for half your rate, and he's better at social than you and all this stuff. Bye,
Felicia.
Yeah, so it's I think loyalty's definitely different now too. Yeah. So
you mean brand loyalty
and
to the influencers?
Both.
Okay, so we're gonna have to get.
I know. I'm like,
we'll stay here for hours and
right.
How can people find you? Get in contact with you.
So
shout
they
out your
can,
Instagram page.
NatalieUhlingFitness.com is my website. From there, you can follow me on every single social platform: YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram at Natalie Uhling. Everything's under Natalie Uhling, so it's pretty.
I'm going to show you the fire behind LinkedIn.
Oh, I know, and you've been. I would love to do that.
Yeah, because the brand, like that's where the brands are, and you can connect up with probably any influencer at your stature. So it might be an interesting.
I would love to see all that side. I know. I don't
know nobody
much.
Who's in your type of world who's like really
killing it over there.
The brand there, yeah, guarantee it.
So yeah, find me there, hit me up. I'm pretty active on social, so when people DM me, I always try to connect with my audience. So no question's a bad question.
She's great.
I've got to ask every question you can possibly think of. I'm like, okay, that's not in my wheelhouse, but I'll
ask her about the dirtiest thing that happened in New York.
Right.
And wait, you and Katie better launch this thing soon.
It's on recording. I know.
So.
Well, we are. We're going to launch it in the fall. So
beautiful.
Stay tuned for all the in and outs of our little adventure. So thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. Always. That helps so much. Leave a review for us. We'll talk to you next time.